No counter spells, please. Ah, yes. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am glad that you are here, and I am glad to be here. We're back here with some jank in Historic this time. And it's going to be some Abzan control. We'll see how this goes. I am not certain we're going to be able to get very many wins with this, but I love, specifically, Ethereal Absolution. Any opportunity to get to play this card, I am looking forward to. So, in an effort to do that, we're trying to come up with some other activities that might lead towards some victories. In this case, how about sweeping the board a whole bunch of times, using a whole bunch of spot removal and hand disruption, and maybe even a light dose of card advantage to get us there. Now, you'll note there really isn't even a single win condition in this deck. Now, the Ethereal Absolution technically counts because you can make 1/1s, but that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. And the Bala Ged Recovery does get things back from our graveyard to our hand, so we can fire a bunch of this stuff off multiple times. But here, ladies and gents, the win conditions all come from the sideboard. Mastermind's acquisition allows us to pick a card we own from outside the game and put it into our hands. So in this case, that means the sideboard. We have some kind of generic options. Graveyard Hate. We have Token Hate specifically, but this can get other things as well. Planeswalkers, for shutting off Planeswalkers mainly, but other things sometimes as well. Pretty versatile. Then we have some potential win conditions. Basri Cut, if it sits out there long enough, will win the game because we'll ultimate, right? A couple of turns in, Basri Cut fires off the ultimate, and over the course of the game should hopefully bring in the victory. On the other hand, for our opponents trying to do a bunch of tokeny stuff, we have Virulent Plague, another board sweeper out of the side, another board sweeper out of the side, Zendikar's Row. So now just making some land drops can bring in the win. Then we have a Liliana Dreadhorde General. I don't think I need to defend this card. Very, very strong. Thought Distortion for particularly the control matchup, but there are plenty of opportunities where Thought Distortion can just be really, really powerful against our opponent. Our third Ethereal Absolution, another Casualties of War. A Garruk, a Cruel Reality, and a Played-Wine Celebration, of course. Particularly in situations where we can, like, we've got control of the board, our opponent's just in top deck mode, we can fire off Mastermind's Acquisition, potentially fire off a Bala Ged Recovery to get it back. So then we can go and get a Planeswalker or something, and then use Plane-Wide Celebration the following turn to ultimate that Planeswalker, and that will often win the game right there on the spot. But yeah, folks, so these are likely to be some marathon games, but you never know. Let's go out and see how it plays, shall we? All right, ladies and gents. We are up against Fnurfimgnimshnish. Good luck for Fnigmgurnmishminish. I wish you the best. I think we're going to keep this hand. It's got a 3-drop, a 4-drop, and 2 6-drops, so that's not great. But we know we're going to be moving a little slower, so you know. Whatever. Apparently on dinosaurs, the texture of this hand seems like it would be pretty good against dinosaurs. Hopefully they don't get super, super aggressive, though, because, of course, being on the draw... Oh, boy. Well, that's a good one. Exactly the kind of thing we wanted off the top of our library. Thank you, deck. I appreciate your efforts to keep us in this game. Thundered Migration. Ramping our opponent just a wee bit. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and pay the life and get down to Phyrexian Arena right now. I think drawing the extra card is going to be really important. Well... yeah, I think we just need to keep playing our cards, I guess. We do need a bunch of land drops here. We need to get to Casualties of War and Ethereal Absolution in a relatively short period of time, I think. Oh. Oh my. All right, well, I suppose we can go to the sideboard then. Okay, let's just grab ourselves a Garruk, I guess. This could be the wrong play here. But considering we already have an Ethereal Absolution, we already have a Casualties of War, those might be the other cards we might reach for in this situation. Oh boy, our opponent kind of stuck on lands there. A little unfortunate for them. Believe it or not, folks, we're in a situation where we've got to discard because we just haven't been able to fire off our control spells. So we're gonna get rid of a board sweeper. Even though if I told you, yeah, my opponent's playing dinosaurs, you would think, oh, well, wow, yeah, I bet board sweepers are exactly what you're looking for, and you would be absolutely right the vast majority of the time. In this case, not able to hang on to it, though. So let's just fire off a Casualties of War. Our opponent, yeah, stuck on lands over there. So I think we want to make sure to not allow them to get out of this. Of course, Otepec Huntmaster makes dinosaur spells cheaper, right? So all right, we're gonna start making a bunch of wolves. Definitely think this was probably the right decision here. Next turn, we get to fire off the Ethereal Absolution. Our wolves are very, very large. Our opponent, yeah, just stuck in discard mode. That's got to feel terrible for him. Yes, we could fire off another Casualties of War. It would most likely prompt a concession. You know, when you've got an active Garruk Cursed Huntsman and they've got 2 lands and only one of their colors, like that would probably prompt a concession. But the deal is, we don't need a concession if we win next turn, right? So with 12 power in play, we just get to fire off a Casualties of War or something and get any potential creature out of the way or something like that, right? But yeah, indeed. Good game, Fnurfigshnish. Sorry about your land troubles. Sorry about your land troubles indeed. But good game anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we are up against Blackpoint. Good luck, Blackpoint. This is a hand we're going to keep. I don't think it's insane or anything, but we're going to hang on to it. I am going to let the Overgrown Tomb come in tapped. We have a very, very reactive hand. So yes, shocking, Thoughtseizing is often a play that's acceptable in most decks, but I think since our deck is so reactive, but our hand by extension, means that we would rather just protect our life total. Because, you know, if we were up against some kind of mono red deck or something like that, I think our life total would be very, very important to carefully guard there. Unfortunately, we are up against a very controlling deck. And we feel pretty bad about that. We're going to go ahead and Maelstrom Pulse away that Ruined Crab. That fella is annoying. I don't think our chances of winning this are very good, folks. Yeah, I don't think our chances of winning this are very good at all. Alright, we're going to Mythos of Nethroi and get rid of that other Ruined Crab. We've been able to make our land drops pretty consistently. That's very important. So far, we don't have any cards that matter in this matchup. So that's a thing. We're going to kill this Maze-Mind Tome. It represents a lot of card draw for our opponent. Yes, it's possible this is not great for us, but considering the vast majority of our deck is removal-based things, I mean, all right. Let's just go ahead and grab an Ethereal Absolution back. Being able to hate their graveyard out doesn't actually seem too terrible. Opponent just going to fire off the Eldest Reborn. Don't blame them. Oh my word, that's a great draw. We're going to wait on it, because we don't want to have to discard a card. We would, you know, essentially have to discard a card anyway. But yeah, this is actually pretty awesome. Yep. So let's go to the sideboard there. I think we're probably just going to go for the Zendikar's Royal, because land drops can win us the game then. And we can cast it as soon as next turn, with or without a land drop. Yeah. Okay. And if we ever get a land, the Ethereal Absolution will grow these to 3/3s. That's very, very relevant over there, I think. Hey. No counter spells, please? Ah, yes. Fair enough. All right. Black point, making us sacrifice our creature. I wouldn't describe myself as excited about that. We would like to pressure our opponent, but we got that creature very much for free, you know? So we are definitely not broken up about it. That's for sure. All right, Blood Chief's Thirst, going to fire off and hit our 3/3. Opponent passing through attackers. We're going to activate Ethereal Absolution, start eating some of their graveyard here. We're going to start with the Ruin Crabs. I think us milling out is a pretty real concern. Believe it or not, folks, yeah, I think we would rather have the 3/3 than a random card off the top of our deck, even though we have roughly infinite mana here. It is relevant that we can make 2 1/1 flyers starting next turn, since we'll be up to 8 mana. I think that's very good. Now, admittedly, we can only exile creatures from our opponent's graveyard, and only creatures, or we can only exile cards from our opponent's graveyard, and only creatures give us creatures in return, right? So there are a limited number of creatures we can make with Ethereal Absolution. This Ethereal Absolution, though, does put our opponent in a very, very awkward spot, right? They're hurting over there. They run out a Ritual of Soot to kill off all of our stuff, but they're Ruin Crab as well. Exiling all cards from our graveyard. That is annoying. We have some things that could potentially benefit us there. But, you know, this is the way the game is played. Opponent has potential opportunity to remove this 2/2. It's a Blood Chief's Thirst, sure. That actually doesn't hurt our feelings there. Yeah, we could have waited till end step to do it, but well, maybe that would have been better. Dropping them to 7 is relevant. Right. So we're going to eat more creatures. Yep. Yummy, yummy creatures from our opponent's bin. We're going to Thoughtseize here. Yeah, our opponent has a Vraska's Contempt. Opponent gets to gain a couple of life. And a Blood Chief's Thirst, sure. Yeah. These things are fine. We're going to go ahead and get in, drop our opponent back down to 7. They're in top deck mode, and yeah, it's not looking good. Good game, Black Point, good game. Definitely needed to get a couple of like more relevant cards there near the end. Maybe some counter magic or something. I do think our opponent's deck was very much built around attritioning out other creature decks. In very, very similarly to ours. But I definitely think in the matchup, given the texture of our decks, we had a pretty big advantage. So, good game, Black Point. Good game. All right, yeah, we'll hang on to this, folks. We're up against Shisui. Good luck, Shisui. We're going to lead on an Indatha Triome. Pray our opponent isn't too aggressive. They do have Boros Sleeves, so not ideal. Speaker of Heavens, huh? Yeah, let's just go ahead and pass, I guess. Wow, this is terrifying. You don't normally do reasonable things if you're decking Crashing Drawbridge, folks. That's the sort of card you put in your deck specifically to try and do silly things. Another Speaker of Heavens, huh? I guess we can take one. Okay, here we go. Thank heavens. Oh, boy. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that lady right now. Let the Godless Shrine enter tapped. Yeah, okay, they do get the land. Thank heavens we got rid of Aurelia. One more damage coming through for Speaker of Heavens, up to 22 points of life. And okay, yeah, that's actually a pretty good draw here. It gives us the opportunity to get rid of Speaker of Heavens. It's true we're leaving the shields down. Our opponent might be able to Lyra here and just scoot in for a whole bunch of damage. Okay. But I think this is okay. Okay, sure. Yeah. Lyra, come on down. No, wait. We gotta let him get haste first. Otherwise, they're going to create a token, and that token will gain haste. So we take an extra point of damage if we don't let the Crashing Drawbridge ability resolve. Ethereal Absolution. Gonna shrink all them creatures there. That Castle Ardenvale doesn't do a whole lot here. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and hold on to our removal and Ethereal Absolution to be able to start making creatures to attack back at our opponent with, right? Yeah. Eat that Lyra. Yum, 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 yum. All right, we're going to get in for 2. Does our opponent fire off Response Resurgence or Settle the Wreckage? Seems unlikely. It's pretty early in the game for that sort of thing. I don't think our opponent is anywhere near desperate enough to try and do that. All right. Ethereal Absolution. Continuing to exile our opponent's graveyard and create advantage for ourselves. Opponent settles our wreckage. We go and find our only couple of basic lands, but that's okay. We're gonna Wrath this board away, just basically so we have more fodder for our Ethereal Absolution to eat. There are 4 creatures in the bin, which means 4 2/2s. That is, you know, kind of quite a bit. Now, the Response Resurgence means they can respond and kill one of our 2/2s during attacks. That's both reasonable and accepted. Alright. Folks, we do want either a Mastermind's Acquisition or Phyrexian Arena to start drawing extra cards or accrue extra advantage, right? Yeah. Opponent, as anticipated, just says, okay, that's fine. Takes the damage down to 20. You know, their life total is not in danger from a single 2/2 here. And they're waiting to see if we do something truly stupid. They don't want to waste their Response Resurgence if we're going to do something crazy later on, right? I don't blame them for that. I do not blame them. I think this is wise. Us accruing this kind of board now, though, this is the sort of board that our opponent will have to address soon. Very soon. Now, if they got another Settle the Wreckage, that would be really annoying here, folks. Because we don't have any more basics. So this is just exile all 3 of our attackers. That would be unfortunate indeed. Oop, not that. Yep. Okay, down to 14. We are pleased about this. This is very happy. I mean, I can't imagine they're running many conventional sweepers. I don't think they have too many Wrath of Gods or, yeah, Settle the Wreckages, I was about to say. But I bet they are running some number of Deafening Clarion. And in fact, there it is. Angel of Destiny. Well, all right. We're going to go ahead and kill that Angel. And eat it. We only get 1 2/2 here. But that is okay. Hey, Maelstrom Pulse. That's a good one. Admittedly, not great for now, but I don't think our opponent has any ways of winning the game that doesn't involve, you know, advancing the board. Heliod is annoying. Yep. We are going to eat these other cards out of their graveyard. It's possible they have ways of getting them back. I can't imagine what those ways would be. But there's no reason to leave them with potential advantage when there's nothing stopping us from just spending the mana that would go to waste anyway, right? So sometimes it's better to not waste your mental energy, you know, save your brain power, so to speak, and just do the thing that has no downside, right? Yes, it's true. There's very little chance that that matters, but there is also chance, for the record, that there could be mechanical error on my part, where in the future I go to make a creature, and that creature could be very important to our game plan, and I accidentally misclick, right? That would be potentially disastrous, even game losing, in some very, very insignificant percentage of games, but worth noting, right? So there's no reason not to. Our opponent, of course, just drawing another brick off the top. They are flooding out, as we are, but our cards, of course, have been a lot more impactful. And we have plenty of opportunity for getting additional return on investment from our cards. So Yeah. I'm actually a little tempted there to Bala Ged Recovery, get back the Indatha Triome just so we can cycle it again. But I think that's probably a waste of Bala Ged Recovery. I'm pretty sure we can do better than that. No. Actually, wait. I guess... Oh, well, here we go. Feels good, man. That is exactly the sort of card we want. And yes, we're just going to go ahead and go after another Garruk, or a Garruk Cursed Huntsman again. When you have Ethereal Absolution down, folks, these little 2/2 puppies that are normally pretty threatening, all things considered, being 3/3s is very, very terrifying for the opponent. These are legitimate beasts at that point, and very difficult to get around. Opponent desperately digging for options. Of course, they could have been making Castle Ardenvale tokens every turn for the last, you know, half dozen or more turns, and we could have potentially been in a lot of trouble because of that. We would have had to be spending all these removal spells and things in our hands if they'd been able to do that. Problem is, Ethereal Absolution means those 1/1s are now 0/0s, right? So those creatures that they could have been making turn in and turn out with the value engine that they have specifically put in their deck for this very specific reason is just completely nullified. They are literally just drawing a land, passing the turn every turn that they draw a land. Admittedly, so are we. In fairness, 8, 9, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we've actually drawn more lands than our opponent. Indeed, Shisui finally scooping him up. Good game, Shisui. Good game. All right, folks, here we are back, having one last look back at our jank, and honestly, I think the deck performed very, very, very well. We ended up... I'm not sure if we're going to be able to fit all the games in just for time constraints, but we won 4 games, lost 2 in the games that I ended up playing. We might just edit out both the losses because in both accounts, it wasn't anything exciting, just got run over by really, really fast aggro. Nothing... honestly, there wasn't much entertainment to be had there. We were playing some slow, you know, tapped land, shock land stuff, and our opponent was just like, boom, 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 you know, you're dead. But then every other time, all 4 other wins, we just were, you know, we had pretty entertaining time. It was a lot of fun. We did really well. I think the deck performed well. I'm not quite sure how we would want to change this up. We're back here looking at the deck, thinking of different changes. Oftentimes I'm like, yeah, this card underperformed or something like that. I'm not going to lie, I really don't feel that way. I'm sure I would have if I had faced off against a really hard counterspell control deck. I think we win 5% of those games or something. You know, not only does our opponent need to be stuck on lands or flooded out, but they need to be stuck on lands or flooded out for huge swaths of the game for our cards to ever matter, right? So, and we didn't face off against any of those. So maybe I would feel differently if I felt like we needed some of that. But as it is, I think the deck actually performed really well. I think it was both a lot of fun to play and performed very well. Like I say, you know, we were on a 66% win rate with it. And in fairness, even the one loss, I think we were pretty close. Once we were pretty close to stabilizing, and we if we had stabilized, I think we would have won. But you know, that's the way it always is against aggro, right? Aggro, that's the point. They don't want to let you stabilize. You can, if you stabilize at 1, aggro still loses. But, you know, yeah. So, is what it is. I had a great time. That said, if you see something in this list and you're like, hey, I really feel like, you know, we need to change it here. Like maybe we don't need both Casualties of War main. They're good, but maybe they just slow the deck down too much. What if these were, let's say, some 2-drops, or maybe some a couple more Phyrexian Arena or something like that? and just lean into drawing these Masterminds acquisition more or something like that. You know, I don't know what it is. I currently feel like this build looks pretty good. But definitely let me know what you feel. Down in the comments below. I appreciate it. Also, while I'm talking about it, down there in the description, you'll note I have a Twitch channel. Folks, that's actually what I do most of the time. 6 nights a week I stream on Twitch. And I'd love to have you there. Some people, you know, don't really like to interact with chat or whatever in Twitch, but like honestly, I like getting to know you folks. I like making friends. I'd like for you to be one of them. Come on out and see us. Until then though, there'll be another YouTube video showing up for you tomorrow. So I will see you then.